phone. Quick at KZ, I'ma run up on your band, make these niggas hate me. I'm a diamond on my hand. I'm the light, had me up all night, had to figure out wrongs and right. Like, what's the meaning of life? Like, what's the meaning of life? Tell me, are you ready to pay that price? Late nights, early morning sacrifice. They tried to lock me in the cage and that ain't right. Scheming cause I won't eat in at night. Everywhere they go, they take they pole, I'ma keep my pipe. Had to show them boys that I won't no hoe, had to earn my stripes. Gotta put my heart on songs on oozing pain for life. This shit run through my veins, hope it stay like this for life.
Hey everybody, hey world, I am Sheila J. This is Chocolate Cake 101. See how I have like no puppets, wall art, anything. I don't even have coffee or flowers in the frame because I'm just having is my hands ashy? I just want to have a serious conversation with you guys. I have been getting my ass beat up over the past few weeks over not allowing my me not allowing my throat chakra to express itself. And that changes today, buddy. So I'm not even gonna get into the stories of all the things that have happened. Not today, because I really just want to get right into the topic. So there are certain things that I really want to talk about, but before I even get to those points, we have to talk about the precursors. Because one thing that I always say is one of the main confusions in this world is the confusion of terminology, what people believe, what one word means. This group thinks it means this, to this person it means that. So I really wanted to go over some terminology first. I think I'm gonna cut this part out, but we're just gonna keep talking anyway. All right, so for that, I have decided to do a whole series on self-concept and what is now being called as the law of assumption. And I know you guys, but just stay with me because this is some bomb-ass, life-changing shit. So self-concept is, if you look on all these social media outlets, you're gonna find a lot of people are talking about self-concept, mental diet, law of assumption, all these different terms, right? Law of expectancy. You guys are gonna, I'm not talking about the law of attraction, even though it kind of relates to it, but all these different terms. And you're gonna see the hundreds of thousands of people all over TikTok, these young little kids, TikToking it. These young little kids, you're gonna see older people, you're gonna see people of all age, genres, cultures, sexes, sex, identifications, all these things. You're gonna see all these people from all these different places being able to use self-concept to be amazing. And so self-concept sounds like a duh thing, but I'm gonna break it down to you. We're gonna break it down in a few series and you're gonna understand it in a better way. So first of all, and I have like notes. I do wanna add something real quick. I'm not gonna say this too many times. So I have been putting off things for a long time, procrastinating, because I was always worried about the people who did not feel the same way that I do. Turns out, I'm realizing as an adult, I have always had very few people that did not support me, whether that be in sports, in school, my siblings. I'm the youngest of 5 children, 2 brothers, 2 sisters. I've had supportive parents, co-workers, even strangers. Everyone's always told me you can, I just went off. Everyone's always told me I can, do we have anything? Everyone, always. I've never had any type of, what's it called? Opposition. Damn, except this light now. Anyway, that's coconut oil. I keep losing my nose piercings, you guys. A whole bunch have fallen off in the past few days. Anyways, so it turned me into a scaredy cat people pleaser. What's it called? An empath, we're gonna get on that topic another time. But my point is, I don't fucking feel like that anymore. And if you don't feel the same way, I understand. I respect that. This is probably not the place for you. Not even no, I'll say probably, because there's so much information and people do tend to grow. So that's your prerogative. I don't. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm really focused on the people who understand what I'm saying, because I don't have time to waste. I do, but I don't have energy to waste, negative energy. The second thing I want to say is the stuff that I talk about, right? It's the funniest thing, because a lot of people will say that the information is fantasy. It's silly. And those are the people that are at the bottom or have to work hard to be where they are, because logic will only get you so far, and then you got to start looking at other things. I'm really talking about mind. This information is literally everywhere all the time, since it actually predates the stuff that we know in the life that our culture calls normal. So you don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. This is information that you may or may not want to take. The one thing that I've always said is you don't have to choose a side. Take the information, decide if what you can and cannot use, and throw away what you can't. All right, so what I really wanted to say about this is, when it comes to self-concept and the things that I'm going to be talking about, my mom started getting me on this when I was a kid. Before softball games, she would make me visualize. She didn't do it all the time, but when she did it, I would sit in the car and I would just imagine what I wanted to happen. Because in your mind, you can make it so that you never mess up. And I always had successful games because my mom was so on point with self-concept and mental diet. Thanks, Mom. It's a long story. We won't go in there for now. Athletes. What is it? What is Game 5 of the NBA just happened, and the NBA championship just happened last night? Athletes, your NBA All-Stars, okay. What's it, the Olympic teams? We're not even just talking about athletes or famous athletes. We're literally talking about politicians, actors, all of the well-to-do people that are just really, really successful in life. They know these concepts, and they use these concepts all day, every day. They understand the importance of a mental diet. They understand the importance of making sure your mind is number one. We live in this 3D reality where everything is matter. But what we don't understand is, if we can get our mind on point, then it will handle everything else. Nothing else will matter. You get your mind right, your diet will be right, your food will be right, your health will be right. You don't have to worry about unhealthy food or not. That's what I'm saying when I say your food will be right. Your body will be the way that you want it to be. Your money will be right. Your sex will be right. Your love life will be right. Your freaking cars will be right. I have to get 2 new batteries for my Jeep as we speak. That's why I say your cars will be right. But that's a whole nother story. I'm going to talk about that right now. I love myself. What was I saying? Everything will be right. Another thing is, this is not something that you have to tell anybody about. You're not paying for this. And I might have already said this because this is an excerpt. You don't have to tell anybody about this. You're not paying for this. This is not something that you have to go to a particular place to do. You can do this anywhere, anytime, even in your sleep. No one has to know what you're doing. No one can know unless you tell them. If you want to tell them, because it's not that big of a deal. But the stuff that I'm telling you guys is so freaking golden. And it's so funny because a few years ago, I have a beautiful coworker of mine, gorgeous man, tall, good looking, intelligent, professional, just literally qualities of a leader all around. And he would be so frustrated all the time. He was my team lead in a lot of the operations that I would do. And he would always express how pissed off he was and how upset he was and how bitter he was, because he felt like it didn't matter what he did, our management team was always trying to hold him back from him excelling in the career. He could apply for whatever position. It didn't matter if it was at our station or another station. It didn't matter. Everything could be going well, and then all of a sudden, boom! As soon as our management team got involved in his promotions, everything died. I'm not going to say the rest of that story because years later he did end up being successful, but that's for another day. I was in an argument with him because I was trying to explain to him that it is not them that's holding him back. It is he that is holding him back. And if he can get his mind right, they will eat out of the palm of his fucking hand. And he wouldn't listen to me. And so we ended up coming to the conclusion that, because he was like, oh, this hocus pocus law of attraction. I was spitting Abraham, I'm not gonna lie. But I was trying to explain to him the gaps of why what hasn't worked. Because if you can get it to click, life is a fucking piece of cake. Chocolate if you're lucky. So, just kidding. We came to the conclusion that this was all about the mind, and it would only work if he believed it worked, aka the law of assumption. So I just let it go there because I'm like, nigga, that's what I'm trying to say to you. Change your thoughts and you'll change your reality. Anyways, if you don't control your mind, someone else will control it for you. And that's exactly what's been happening in the day-to-day with music and movies and this culture that has driven everybody into this chaos that we're in right now. It's a beautiful plan. They did a really good job. So first of all, what is it? What is self-concept? I would like to describe self-concept as the concept of yourself, how you feel about yourself, what you say about yourself, what you feel like what you can have, do, be, think, feel, whatever, in correlation to the world around you. So all of us realize that there's two versions of us. There's us, and then there's the us that's talking to us. Self-concept is how do you talk to yourself? How does us talk to us? That is what self-concept is. Now, this is going to be different from self-love. So, for example, self-love is, let me just go into this real quick and then I'll break it down even more. So self-love is going to be like understanding who you are in the world, understanding what that means to you. I'm trying not to, I want to get your attention, but not too much. Understanding who you are in the world, understanding what that means to you, and trying your best within those circumstances. But self-love has a lot of limitations in it, and that's where self-concept comes from. So for example, if I am going for a job interview, which one of my friends actually went for a job interview today. If I'm going for a job interview, self-love says, I'm going to wake up early, I have my clothes ready, I know what I'm going to say, I have my resume, I have all my credentials ready, and I have references and whatever else I need to have. I've already researched this company, I know the owner anyway. You know, self-love says I do what I need to do to prepare myself for the things that I want, and because that's how I take care of myself and that's how I prepare. That's what self-love says. Self-concept says the same shit, whatever it is. But okay. Self-concept says the same stuff. I woke up early, I'm prepared, I have my resume, I've researched the job, I know what I'm going to be doing, I feel good, I ate my breakfast, you know, I did everything I'm supposed to do this morning. But self-concept, the difference between self-love and self-concept is self-love says at the end of the interview or in between it, on the way to it, whatever, self-love says, I feel great, I'm going to do my best and hope for the best. Hopey faithy, faithy hopey. Self-concept says, man, I'm so good at this. And everybody loves me. I already got the job because I'm the most qualified for the job. So I'm just gonna have fun. And once this interview's over, I know they're going to be offering me the job on the spot, or they're gonna be giving me a call in a few days so I can just relax and go ahead and start making plans because this is my job. With love, with respect, this is my job. So do you see the difference, right? So it sounds so egotistical or narcissistic or blah, like, Shayla, why are you doing a video on this? So let me go a little deeper in this explanation. I don't know about, I can't speak for the whole world, but let's just speak for North America, our continent, the North America. Let's just speak for like America, Canada, the Western culture. We have all these limitations, and the whole world does too, but let me just speak for what I know. We have all these limitations based off of who we are and what society grew up in, what we can and cannot do. So for example, I was in a conversation with a really good friend just yesterday or just the other day of them telling me that, you know, I was supposed to be tall. I was supposed to be I was supposed to be really tall. My dad was 6'4". I was supposed to be tall, but I did this and it centered my growth. So now this is the height that I'm going to be the rest of my life. Or some girl with alopecia, she says, oh, I have a bald spot and I'm just going to have that bald spot for the rest of my life. Or someone has an incurable disease and they believe that it's actually incurable, so they just allow themselves to live with this incurable disease even though they're not happy. Or someone who's been having weight problems all their life, deciding that they're just going to be fat. Or someone who can't have kids, really saying that, oh, I just can't have kids, I can't get pregnant, so we're going to adopt, but there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that you're living with this limiting belief that you can't have kids doesn't make any sense. That you're going to let somebody tell you what you and your body can do, whether it's an incurable disease or food that you believe that you're poisonous to, or something that's going to make you sick, or I don't know, you have a scar that you was told it was always going to be there, or the complexion of your skin doesn't make you happy, your eye color or your hair length, or there's something on your body that isn't an ailment, but it's something that you don't like and you want to change. We go through life with all these things that we say that we cannot do, be, or have, and it's bullshit because it's just a limiting belief that the only reason what makes it true is your mind. So self-concept is about changing your mind to have all the things that you want to have. Because the only reason, I read the quote the other day, and it was just like a really good quote, I think I screenshotted it. The only reason that we don't have the things that we want to have is because we actually believe that we can't have them. Meanwhile, there's all these people that go through life constantly and consistently that do the things that they say that you're not able to do. You are worthy of love. You can have anything you want if you are willing to give up the belief that you can't have it, Dr. Robert Anthony. So in other words, saying our limitations are literally built on the belief that they say you can't. They say that world peace is impossible. They say that world hunger will always be and that they'll never be able to feed everybody. They say that, oh my gosh, they just say that all these things aren't true. And to me, it's a fucking cop-out and it's gaslighting because it gives you an excuse to never try. Meanwhile, there's all these people fucking jumping on your back to get to the top. And they did it easily because you sat there and you humped and you let them. Because you didn't take, because you thought you couldn't, because somebody told you and you went with that. So that is the difference between self-concept and self-love. And this goes literally with anything in life. If you look on these social media sites, the basic topics that people use this for is health, money, health, money, body image and appearance changes, love. One of the biggest things, I think the biggest thing, that people have all these pages coaching people how to uplift their self-confidence, their self-concept, to get a guy back or a girl back. And it's crazy because I used to think that, you have all these positive people that are teaching you, oh, you can't have who you want. You literally just have to live your best self and love yourself and let God or the universe bring to you who you are ordained to have, who you're in alignment with. And meanwhile, you have hundreds of thousands of people getting back their ex-boyfriends, getting back their ex-girlfriends, getting back people that they were told they were never going to be able to have, and getting them back the way they want them, not accepting them for the asshole that they are. No offense, y'all. You can be whatever you want. I'm just giving some examples. They get them back however they want them back. So this is about, people talk about like reality shifting and quantum shifting, being able to go back and revise things and make things how you want them to be. And there's all these people like you, all these people out there that say that that's not possible, that's not true, you can't do that, that's devil shit, that's witchcraft, you can't do it, it's wrong. I think I told my sister about this a couple months ago, and she said, that sounds like witchcraft. And I was like, well, I'll be doggone if all I have to do is tell myself in my mind certain things and condition my mind a certain way to get whatever I want. Like, is that easy? I'll be damned. And then someone calls this witchcraft. I didn't light a candle. I didn't do no hocus pocus. I didn't praise the moon. I didn't drink blood. I didn't do anything. All I did was change the way that I thought. What's his name? Dr. Wayne Dyer says it all the time. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And the reason why this is important is because this isn't just about money. This isn't just about love. This isn't just about social issues. That's my point. This is about social issues. There are so many groups of people that are living life that they don't want to live And they go through this really hard time of trying to make it work. And all you had to do was change the way you thought. You don't have to pay for this. You don't have to work hard for it. What do they say? It's simple, but it's not easy. So you do have to condition your mind. But as you do it, you see results like literally right away. It's pretty fucking magical how awesome the world is. And I really want to explain, oh, hold on. So yeah, you don't have to pay anybody. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to, this is between you. And you can do it literally in your sleep. It doesn't cost anything. This is the best. This has changed how I even coach people, what I tell them to do. It's the easiest thing now. And because it works for them, it also works for me to help them. So this is amazing. Gosh, I feel like I'm running on. I'm going to be doing, I want to talk about it. I want to continue to talk about it, but I also want to break down in certain categories because I feel like you have to really, I mean, you could go on YouTube and search for this stuff. Literally, I mean, there's tens of hundreds of YouTube videos and YouTubers talking about self-concept, talking about law of assumption, coaching people on it. Technically, you don't have to coach anybody. This shit is free and it's so easy. However, and I will be talking about that later. So, esotericism, I want to talk about the esotericism behind self-concept. So everyone talks about like the glass half empty and the glass half full. Now, I can talk about this from a scientific viewpoint, and I'm going to. But I also want to talk to you about it just from a basic logical standpoint, because we are talking about how you see the glass, half empty or half full. But it's also just about always claiming that you are what you want to be. So for example, if I want to be funny, I just say I'm funny now, and I find all the ways that I'm funny. And that was a really big thing for me, because for a long time I used to be so serious. Why so serious? I used to be very serious, and I wanted to be funny. And I used to think, I'm not funny. And then one time I realized, well, you're not funny because you don't think that you're funny. So I stopped saying that I wasn't funny and just started looking for all the ways that I was funny. And then all of a sudden, y'all, this is small, but I'm trying to tell you, it is that easy. All of a sudden, I realized people started laughing at just the silly little things that I did when I was even just really just being serious. So, hey. All right, but let's talk about it. Because I did it. 222. I did it. So, in the concept of, I have to close my eyes because if I open them, I'm just so stunned on how pretty I am. And I just keep looking at the camera. So I have to close my eyes so that I can focus. So you guys, there's so much I want to say, and I feel like I'm just going to be all over the place, or I'm just going to be hit and miss, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't matter because it all will get said. So I'm going to stop trying to be so serious about everything and trying to make everything so perfect and trying to make sure I hit all the things, because at the end of the day, with everything that I'm going to post, things will get said. So I'm not going to worry about it anyway. Okay, so as far as self-concept and just like being logical about self-concept, you guys already understand, they talk about it in all these different groups, whether it be with different religions or just science, talking about why it's important to be positive and to always see things on the brighter side. And I talk about the language of love, or the language of acceptance, and I talk about the language of hate, or not even hate, because the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is fear. So I talk about the emotion of fear, or the emotion of resistance, because fear is resistance. It's blocking something off, and love is appreciation or acceptance and allowing things in with faith and trust and knowing that you're safe, right? So when you look at these two emotions, right, and you talk about you might as well be happy rather than sad. Whenever we tell ourselves that we can not do something, or we have a negative association with something, or we'd say no, things like that. And no is a funny word because no is actually very powerful. But whenever we block ourselves off from something, give it fear, give it anxiety, say we can't do it, say you don't have enough energy, you're basically saying, I don't have enough energy for this to be a possibility for me right now. I don't have enough energy to give to you. I don't have enough energy to be happy. I don't have enough energy to give love. I don't have enough energy to lend an ear. I don't have enough energy is what you're saying. But that's not true, because you live in an infinite universe. That energy is circulating all around you at all times. You can get energy whenever you want it. But when you say I cannot, the mind being the most powerful thing, and we're, like I said, I'm going to go into the science of all this, because there's so many people who are logical and do want the science of this. So I will do that. But the mind being the is all, the number one, the thing that allows you to be, do, or have whatever you want. Whenever you decide that you cannot have it, the mind says, okay, cool, and shuts off all possibilities of it even being something that you can do, can have, something that can happen to you. If you think that people don't like you and they're going to be mean to you, the mind and the universe work together to make it so that what you just said is correct. Oh, okay, she thinks she's sick, we'll show her some symptoms. And that's literally the concept behind you going to the doctor, somebody saying that you have something that you didn't even know you had, and then all of a sudden, once they say it, you start feeling the concept. You start feeling the symptoms, is what I mean. Because we are, we are open to, we are subjected to whatever that energy was, whether it be positive or negative. So we allowed that sickness. We said, oh, okay, doc. So when you say, I'm not funny, it closes off all avenues of you being funny. When you say I'm tired, it closes all avenues of you getting more energy. When you say I can't have something, you damn right you can't have it. And the people who believe they can are slipping right past you and getting the shit that you could have just as well have had. And so that's the other side of the polarity. And that's another thing we have to talk about, polarity. When you say I can have something, I can be something, I can do something, when you give yourself the benefit of the benefit, then it's just like they say, all lines open up to give you that possibility. And you don't even have to be a yes man and give yourself the benefit and be like the most optimistic person. You can just not tell yourself no and say, you know what, I'm just going to allow whatever to flow. I'm just going to accept that good things do happen. I'm just going to allow myself to be lucky. I'm just going to allow myself to feel like I am capable. Because literally in your world, you should be the main character. You should be number one. If anybody can fucking do it in your world, baby, it should be you. It should be you. You, not somebody else, you. So, self-concept is not something, it is something that can be overnight. It could be, you were low self-esteem one night, high self-esteem the next. It can be that. However, a lot of times self-concept is, for a lot of different reasons, a practice that you would go over time and learn how to be better over time. And this is when we talk about the mental diet and an emotional diet and the law of assumption and everyone is you pushed out and embodiment and living in the end and all this stuff that everybody talks about. So that's when we get into all that stuff. I hope I'm not jumping around, but I'm about to do it. The reality of self-concept in the third density, the reality of self-concept. Why should I care about self-concept? I think I had almost touched on that part earlier. These are the people who aren't experiencing a lack. They're not going to experience a shortage. They're not going to experience not getting that job, not having that money, not having that girl, not having those awesome kids, not having that lifestyle, because they didn't take it away from themselves. So this is literally about training your mind. The way you practice basketball, the way you practice, you study your grades, the way you work on your physical body, you have to practice and train your physical mind. And if everything in this life is about your mental diet, your mental habits, your mind is all, everything is the mind, as within, so without, then the one thing that you do want to work on and train and be best friend of is your mind, is your head. Like I said, this is a movement. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I don't think I was gonna say it in this episode, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. You know how like Christians talk about Jesus Christ coming back, and they talk about Jesus said, "I'm gonna be with you to the end of time," or something like that. Well, it wasn't. He didn't say, "I'm gonna be with you to the end of time." He said, Jesus is the homie, so I can tell you guys this. he said, I'm going to be with you to the end of the eon. An eon is an accumulation of time, a cycle, like a year or a dynasty or a light year, an eon. And I could have told you, I could have given you the exact time frame about 2 years ago. I believe an eon is 25,926 years. But then there's smaller time frames too, because we're on a time frame. What year is it? It's year 2022. So at around year 2025, a lot of shit's going on. Basically, everyone talks about the Jesus Christ, which was the age of Pisces. Remember, he's like the infinity fish symbol. That is gone, and now we're in the age of Aquarius. The age of Pisces is about emotions. The age of Aquarius is about understanding. I know is the motto of the Aquarius. And how do I know that? Anyways, but the point of this is a lot of spiritualists, they will argue with what actually is coming back, whether it be Jesus, but a lot of people think it's a Christ consciousness. Which a Christ consciousness, I would literally on this episode go into the story of Mary and Joseph and the the school that they were part of in Egypt and what they learned in those 17 years and how they were. I mean, it's a long story, and the story of Mary and Joseph is actually pretty freaking impressive. However, the Christ consciousness is understanding that the Christ, the Savior, is within you, and you can have anything that you want. Self-concept, law of assumption starts to go into God concept when they talk about what a God is versus a human, or let's say it a different way. Victim mentality versus creator mentality. Your victim mentality are your people who accept life as they get it. And that's one thing we gotta talk about. Victim mentality. Victim mentality is about, and again, I get it. We don't like the terminology. Nobody wants to be called a victim. But a victim mentality is victim, villain, hero, right? Victim, villain, hero. It's one of the greatest, what's it called? Trifectas, right? Trilogy, trifecta, you know, the three. The Trinities. So villain, victim, hero, Mother, Father, Holy Spirit, Mother, Father, Son, divine feminine, divine masculine, gift, whole, balance. Okay, whatever, sorry. Villain, victim, hero. Victim mentality is about taking what happens to you. You know those people that say, I'm going to match your energy, so you're going to decide how we going to act today. That's victim mentality. God consciousness or creator mentality is, it doesn't matter how you act, I'm going to run the show and come as you are, because I'm going to shift the mood regardless of what it is. That's called being mature. That's emotionally mature. That's mentally mature. That is creator mentality. I'm not going to hope and wish. I'm going to set the standard and believe that that is what it is. They say that God gives you whatever you ask for. The universe gives you whatever you ask for. And a lot of times you guys don't know how to ask, and you don't know how to persist in what you want. So I believe that wraps up the first episode. Like I said, I might have been all over the place, and I might not have, but we got more things to talk about. So if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, screenshot, screen record. I got a couple of y'all screen recording. Can't wait to show this to some people because you hating. Screenshot, screen record, email. I'll leave my information down at the bottom if I remember. Screen record, all that stuff. Share. I'm not really big on the argue thing, but you can if you want. All of that. I love you. Do I? I like you. And thank you for being here. I think that's all I have to say. Until next time, which is about to be in a few minutes because we're about to bulk film. Thank you guys.